Good Thursday, everyone. Thanks for stopping by Garden State Weather and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, providing superior forecasting for the northern mid-Atlantic region 24 hours a day. I'm forecaster Robert Smith, back from vacation with the daily video forecast discussion as promised for Thursday, the 21st of August, 2014. Mid-morning surface observations around the region this morning shows a plethora of cloud cover, some broken clouds around the region. It's clear, rather so across central and southeastern New Jersey's coastal areas, and broken ceilings just about everywhere else. Temperatures are in the upper 60s to lower 70s in the I-95 corridor here, the Delmarva Peninsula down through Washington, D.C. and the northern mid-Atlantic region. Dew points are also coming up from the mid-60s into around 70 in Dover, Delaware this morning. And most of the winds are light and variable, but they are from off the ocean as high pressure still is in control across the region with an onshore marine layer in place. Visible satellite view this morning shows broken ceilings across upstate New York into Pennsylvania. A little bit of convection here in the tufts of the cumulus clouds here with a few rain showers embedded under this regime here. Basically clear from central and southern New Jersey. A few more clouds around the Delmarva region. It's another batch of clouds here over Ohio and Indiana. And this is along a nearly stationary frontal boundary with disturbances moving underneath the upper low across southeastern Canada. And along the stationary boundary, we still have a marine air mass in place here with high pressure generally in control, and that will allow for these showers and thunderstorms to weaken as they propagate east during this afternoon. On the water vapor imagery this morning, we can show a little bit of lifting here across southeastern, northeastern Pennsylvania. Most of the area remains relatively dry in the mid and upper levels. We have to go back towards Ohio and Indiana for our next bout of rising motion of air, and that would induce precipitation over this region as well. And we'll take a look at the latest radar. We can see these showers and thunderstorms basically just dying out as they move northeast across the Mohawk River Valley into New England here. A closer inspection here shows these showers across Pennsylvania dying as they make their way east. And here's our showers and thunderstorms racing from northwest to southeast across the upper Midwest into Indiana and Ohio this morning. A closer viewpoint of that shows these showers and thunderstorms moving south and east across the region, but dissipating as they move into northwestern New Jersey. One thing that has really not changed appreciably over the last couple of weeks, actually the last couple of months, is the amount of pollen which continues to predominate across the region. It's been one of those generally wet to near normal precipitation summers and below average in temperature as a result of a lot of cloud cover and sporadic periods of rain. So we have ragweed, nettle, and chenopod's on the high side for today, and it's going to continue to get even worse on Sunday and Monday of next week. We don't really have any airport delays, watches, warnings, or advisories along the coastal areas or inland. We do have a few spotty showers, and a few of these showers and thunderstorms across upstate New York into New Hampshire, north of Albany now, are producing a little bit of surface-based lightning, cloud to ground lightning. We do have a couple of watches, warnings, and advisories across Maryland and the Washington, D.C. area, actually just west of the Washington, D.C. area into western Virginia and Virginia at the moment. And this is basically for dense fog or patchy dense fog across this region, which will be diminishing as the sun continues to work over the atmosphere this morning. Still don't have anything going in the tropical Atlantic this morning. Regardless, tropical cyclone formation not expected, but about 50% chance of cyclone formation with this in the next 48 hours. But gusty winds, heavy rainfall possible across portions of the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands tonight and Friday, and over Hispaniola late Friday and Saturday. Interest in those islands should closely monitor the progress of this disturbance. An Air Force Hunter aircraft is scheduled to investigate this low this afternoon if necessary. The formation chance over the next 48 hours is medium at about 50%, and formation chance through the day's 5 at about 70%. Satellite imagery of this tropical disturbance, actually. It's not really a depression or a named storm at this point. It's still an investigation. 96L in the Atlantic here. Find some rising motion, cooling cloud tops here, but there's a lot of dry air to the north and also an impedance of southerly winds to the west of this disturbance, which will impede the potential for this to become anything major over the next 48 hours, but will continue to be monitored. Not exactly one of the best beach days, but nonetheless, it won't be a washout just everywhere today. In fact, just mostly cloudy skies. There'll be some few scattered showers around, especially later this afternoon and evening once again. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s, which is quite cool for this time of the year, but southeast winds at around 5 to 10 miles an hour, and the surf will be at around 2 feet. Basically, surf temperatures in the low to mid 70s. The UVI index will still be high through those clouds at 8. There's a low risk of rip currents today. However, they can occur again around piers and jetties. Rip currents are also possible elsewhere. Never swim alone. Swim in only lifeguarded areas, and talk to the team about the hazards in the surf zone. There's a moderate risk of lightning that implies that thunderstorms are still possible for late this afternoon. Next high tide at Atlantic City at 5:41 this afternoon. And we have no airport delays. Things looking pretty good with generally VFR conditions in place. A few areas here in central and southeastern Pennsylvania still have a little bit of MVFR this morning with ceilings between 1 and 3,000 feet. Basically, we're expecting mostly VFR conditions mainly through the day. There could be the potential for some lower conditions later this afternoon and evening with some showers and perhaps a thunderstorm, and if visibility is being reduced. Basically, we expect scattered showers, possible thunderstorms to develop to our west throughout the day and move into the areas later this afternoon and this evening as the disturbance aloft moves through the region. Confidence in thunderstorm activity occurrence and timing is low, so they're not really going to include that in the terminal area forecast. However, there is the potential for some moderate to heavy showers with any of these showers and thunderstorms, so they did put that in for later today into this evening. One model gives the VFR through the period, while the other brings everyone to IFR. Not confident on the IFR, but think we'll get some conditions temporarily with heavier showers on the VFR under MVFR conditions for later today and this evening. The wind should be mostly from the southeast at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Basically, VFR conditions in place for tomorrow and Saturday. An isolated to scattered thunderstorm possible across the region under any thunderstorm MVFR ceilings and brief IFR visibilities would be possible, and then basically generally VFR conditions Sunday through Monday. Right now outside of Newark Airport, 72, dew point 64, humidity 76%, few scattered clouds 6,000, broken at 11,000, and basically VFR conditions in place, maybe a light shower or thunderstorm across the region late this afternoon and early tonight. And then for Philadelphia, right now they're in MVFR conditions. They have broken ceilings at 28,000, broken ceilings at 12,000. So there's a little bit of obscuration there. Temperature 72, dew point 65. The wind is southeast at 5. VFR conditions basically going to be in place for later this afternoon with MVFR or even localized IFR conditions in any heavier shower or thunderstorm that moves through the region, but it will be brief and not lasting. Morning surface chart from weatherroanoke.com and Digital Atmosphere Software shows a little bit of a low pressure area here off the mid-Atlantic coast states, which is pumping in a continual southeasterly wind here. And we also have high pressure off the mid-Atlantic coast locked in over Maine. That's also producing an onshore marine layer. So that's why a lot of these showers and thunderstorms are racing to the north and east. The frontal boundary is still locked in, pretty stationary, basically from the Great Lakes all the way down through the mid and southern mid-Atlantic coast states, keeping most of their area under a marine air mass in place, and these showers begin to die off as they move in. There's more disturbances here in the northwestern flow here as they move underneath this upper low across southeastern Canada. They'll be moving along the frontal boundary and could get in here with a few showers and thunderstorms late this afternoon and again early this evening. Pretty blocked up pattern when we look at the Google Earth streamline analysis. Here's our upper low across northwestern Atlantic. We have high pressure and control off the coast of Maine, pumping in an onshore flow here, and our upper low or cutoff low here across and off the mid-Atlantic coast states. All of this converging with a marine air mass in place and a frontal boundary that lies from the Great Lakes down through the mid-Atlantic coast states, keeping our area on the cooler, cloudier side with an onshore flow in place and disturbances moving in across this upper level low now across the Great Lakes. And this is a little bit convoluted, but it's keeping an air mass that's off the ocean, a marine air mass in place across the region. Therefore, a much more stable atmosphere for the high-resolution rapid refresh model shows us that most of the day will be generally dry. We've introduced the chances of showers and a thunderstorm across the region, especially northern sections late this afternoon. Some of these could produce about a half of an inch, maybe a quarter of an inch of rain as they move through the region as the upper air disturbance moves overhead of us during this afternoon and this evening. and then that remains to die out across the region for late this afternoon. Again, the areas around the Virginias might see some of the rain too. Areas to the north where the best lifting is being organized here, we'll see chances of showers and thunderstorms across this region. But our marine air mass in place will tend to lower the threat for significant weather today, but an isolated shower or even low top thunderstorm possible in this marine air mass late this afternoon and early this evening. NAMWRF composite reflectivity forecast going into the future from Penn State's Ewald site. Lots of clouds around the region during today as the onshore flow. We can see the upper low off the mid-Atlantic coast and high pressure off the coast of Maine. Congealing, well, maybe not congealing, but conspiring the continuation of clouds and onshore flow across the region. Upper air disturbance moving over the top of the warm front to our west, or stationary front to our west, and spokes of energy diving down through the Great Lakes along the frontal boundary and through the region. Could find some light spotty showers and even a low top thunderstorm here or there through the day today, later today and tonight and tomorrow, and just some leftover clouds by early tomorrow morning and again early tomorrow afternoon. Not everyone is going to see rain, but the areas that do receive rain will receive anywhere from a quarter to a half of an inch in any of the shower and thunderstorm activity. The main focus here is much more of the cloud cover, marine air mass in place, and much cooler than average temperatures for late August. NAM 2-meter temperatures here just basically showing lower 80s in central and southern New Jersey, maybe the New York City metropolitan area late this afternoon. Everybody else stays basically in the upper 70s to around 80. The normal high is around 85 for this time of the year. Onshore flow late tonight through tomorrow, producing temperatures tomorrow afternoon once again in the 70s. A cool effect to the ocean fronts as well as the winds continue off the ocean. Right along the barrier islands here of New Jersey and New York City's coastal waters. Temperatures really don't recuperate that much on Saturday either. They'll remain basically in the mid and upper 70s, which is below seasonal by about 5 to 10 degrees. Really don't hear anybody complaining about the lack of heat this summer. It's been relatively below normal on average east of the Rockies. And we move through with the forecast now from the GFS going into motion here. Here's our frontal boundary and low pressure off the mid-Atlantic coast states, low pressure over the St. Lawrence River Valley, and a stationary front with waves of low pressure circumnavigating this upper low across the region. Plenty of cloud cover around the region, spotty shower, isolated thunderstorm too across the region. High pressure blocked up here in southeastern Canada and also off the coast of Maine, pumping in unseasonably chilly marine air mass for this time of the year, keeping temperatures much cooler. Low begins to open up a little bit. Flow begins to flatten out a little bit, but as we get into Saturday, the front lies to our south and east with disturbances moving across the mid-Atlantic coast states at that time from the Ohio River Valley, Indiana, the Midwest, all the way to the mid-Atlantic coast states, but generally high and relatively dry through the early part of the weekend. Maybe an isolated shower here or there, nothing really too concerned about here. And then the flow begins to keep our area with high pressure in control. The blocked up low off the northwestern Atlantic keeps high pressure in control of our weather from basically most of the weekend and keeps a suppression of heat. Any heat that anybody's thinking is going to get into the New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia metropolitan area is not going to be doing so this weekend. And we'll finally begin to break out. Here's our tropical disturbance that we were talking about. The GFS forecast is to remain well offshore and not affect the region. High pressure will continue to be in effect through the region and build across the region during the early part of next week, and therefore begin to modify the temperatures somewhat as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. And by the time we get into Thursday, a frontal boundary, another system here moving in from Lake Huron, or actually Hudson's Bay region, into the Great Lakes region. We'll drag a cold front, but most of the energy will be lifted well to our north and east. And this is a hurricane out here off the Pacific. We'll talk about that in a second video forecast discussion later today. Anyway, these showers and thunderstorms will probably get in here by later next week and weekend, but this is way ahead of the forecast here. But looks like the flow is going to be generally west to east, a zonal flow, so we're not expecting anything significant here for late next week into early next weekend at this time. So you have a pleasant Thursday. We'll be back bright and early on Friday morning with the latest video forecast discussion. For Garden State Weather and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, I'm forecaster Robert Smith.